And we're back. And I want to say thank you to everybody who stuck around during my leave of absence. But as a nice little treat for you guys, I decided to revisit the how to draw in Adobe Illustrator tutorial. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these videos and we're going to set them out individually and we're going to compile them into one big massive tutorial. That way, if you just want to check out the individual pieces, you can do that. And if you want to check out the entire tutorial, you can do that as well. So, if you know anything about the How to Draw series, I did this previously. But the reason I'm doing this is because this is going to be an HD remix, which means everything is going to be high quality. So you can see every single meticulous detail that I am doing. Now, the first thing we're going to want to start out with is we're going to start out with research. And anybody who's looking to draw something, or even in Adobe Illustrator, if you're starting from scratch, we want to do research. And the reason we do this research is to find things that may inspire us. A lot of people who are in the art world, even in, let's say, comic art or fantasy art, they'll create mood boards or storyboards. And these typically, a mood board is different than a storyboard, but a mood board essentially allows you to piece together different elements that tell you what it is that you want to be the overall feel, hence the name mood, for your actual piece that you're creating. So take, for example, if I had a car, some black liquid or shiny metal, I might be looking at something that's more modern, sleek, or, just sharp and dark. These are the type of things that you'll get from that. It's supposed to emote something. It's also supposed to evoke emotion. So you have to look for things that are going to set the mood for your piece and give you inspiration. In addition to that, storyboarding basically is when you set up images to tell how a story goes. But what we're going to use this search and research for is to figure out which direction is best for us. Now, we can look at different examples of people who really do great illustration, and we're going to be creating one character. It's going to be an illustrated character. It can be whatever you want, but we're going to follow through with a previous character that I did, and that character was Ghost Rider. So, our first thing that you want to do is research. Now, for me, I would go to Google Images. So, I make sure that I open my browser, I go to Google, and let's say we're here. I'm going to type in, let's see, let's type in Ghost Rider. And there are going to be a ton of things that come up. Now I'm going to click images. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be creating a comic book character. And it's already done, but I'm going to go through the steps by which I created it. And if this series goes well enough, what I'll do is I'll create a second one, and I'll create the individual steps that I needed in order for me to develop it, and you can see it as we go along developing the piece. All right, so let's get started. So we have Ghost Rider. We scroll down after we've clicked the images button, and you can see a plethora of images for Ghost Rider. There are a ton of them. Basically, flaming skull, leather jacket, flaming bike, chain. These are the things that are synonymous with Ghost Rider. So we just got to make sure that we're keeping these elements, or at least the majority of these elements, into play. So you want to make sure that your character is accurate. Now you can stylize him and do him any way that you want, or whatever your character is. You're not limited on that. You just want to make sure that the elements are there so that people can understand who the actual character that you're drawing is. Unless this is an original character that you're doing. So again, flames, skull, bike, and chain. Some of the Ghost Rider depictions have a horse. The newest one, I believe, has a car. It's just, those are the things that mainly change. And I believe the newest Ghost Rider has a completely different outfit. But we're going to go with the retro Ghost Rider and the one that everybody's most familiar with. And so we're going to stick with the leather jacket, flaming skull, chain, and the spikes on the shoulder. Okay, the bike is secondary because that often changes, so we're going to just ignore that for now. But now that we have our material, what I would suggest is, for your research purposes, select a few images and then take these images and save them. download them to a folder where you can keep all of your assets so that you can look back as reference material. Now, what you do not want to do is you don't want to copy. So don't just go in and say, oh, I'm going to do this exact thing. That's not the point of this. What we're doing is just gathering research now so we can create our own original concept. So take your time, go through, select your actual images, put them in a folder labeled assets, so that way you can refer to them later, and then we can get started on our next section. So this is the end of the first section. This is our research section. The next section we'll be discussing how to create thumbnails. Thumbnails are the next step in developing your character art. So stay tuned for the next class, and that's going to be talking about thumbnails. Thanks again, guys, for showing up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class.